I am joined by Anjaly, our OET hero today, and she's looking forward to having her writing analysed and corrected by me. Isn't that right, Anjaly?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, of course. Anyway, how are you today? How's everything going with you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm going very good, and my preparation also it's running with me, and everything is going well with my swoosh. So I'm really happy with my premium package, and each day I'm sending my corrections, writing corrections, and all. So I'm really waiting for my next correction.
Amazing. So hopefully your writing correction today is going to be the best one you've done yet, right? But without further ado, let's get that writing correction loaded up and we're going to look at it together here. Okay, Anjaly, let's go through it one by one. First of all, we're going to start off by looking at the main body of the letter correction. I'm going to go through it bit by bit with you, analyze your language, your grammar, your punctuation, your lexis, and your structure. And then I'll write down some comments at the very end. I'll give you some takeaway points that I think you've done well and things that you can improve on. So just can I confirm you can see my screen? You can see your correction on the
Yes, I
screen,
can
right?
see.
Fantastic. Okay, let's look through the letter heading. Miss Nita Roberts, home nurse, in-home nursing service, 79 Beachside Street, Bayview, 15th of July, 2018. Dear Miss Roberts, RE, Mrs. Jasmine Thompson, age 76. In terms of the letter heading, that looks good. The structure looks well. All the essential information is there. The letter salutation looks good. The extra information in the RE section all looks good as well. Okay, let's start off now by looking at the first paragraph. Let's see how your purpose is. I am writing to introduce Mrs. Jasmine Thompson, who is recovering from a right total shoulder replacement. Looks well. What I might even do here, though, is just include a comma. And the reason for including a comma is that when we list adjectives, we often put a comma between one adjective and the next. Okay, so I'll just include a comma here. Make sure that's tracked. It is. There we go. She requires home care assistance. Anjaly, everything okay?
Yes, sir. Everything is okay.
I noticed it got dark around you. Did the lights go out?
Yes, my light is gone.
That's amazing. As long as you can see me and I can see me, you can see me as well, right?
Yes, I can see you. Can you see me?
I can see you fine. It's very dark all of a sudden. It's great.
Yeah.
Is the internet okay?
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah, it's
Amazing. There we go. We're back to normal again. Anyway,
yes.
we're going to keep that bit in. That's great. That's funny. So anyway, let's get on with the correction. That's brilliant. She requires home care assistance and management following her discharged home today. Okay, good sentence, Anjaly, but I want to look at one small thing here, okay? Following her discharged home today. Can I ask why you've used ed verb ending for discharge? So it's following her discharged home today. Is this happening right now or did it happen in the past?
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen later on. So what we've used here is we've used the present continuous, right? To indicate something that is relevant now will happen later, but we've used an ed verb, which indicates the past. So we need to correct this. How would you correct this? What would you change this verb ending to?
So following her discharge today. Discharge.
Perfect. Take away the D. Following her discharge today. Is it happening later? And then now. Well done. So apart from that, purpose looks good. You told me what's happening. We have a referral letter and a discharge that's happening. And you told me what the main situation is, and that is a right total shoulder replacement. Okay. Paragraph 2. Mrs. Thompson has had osteoarthritis in the right shoulder since 1997, and which was not responded to conservative treatment. Looking pretty good for the most part, and this is all good. This section is all good too. But this part here, I'm not exactly sure about this. And which was not responded to conservative treatment. So she had osteoarthritis, but it was not responded. What do you think the error might be here?
So we can just make it which was not responded to conservative management. Which was.
So the question is that you use the verb be here, is not responded, but it's an action, right? She had osteoarthritis. So we can't use the verb be here. What would you change that to instead?
Which had not respond.
Perfect.
Which had not responded to conservative treatment.
Which had not responded to conservative treatment. Yes, perfect. And the reason why is because it happened in 1997. It had not responded, okay? What we want to do here as well is we can take away and. Why? Because which is our cohesive device. It's our relative pronoun. So we don't need and which in this case. Which had not responded to conservative treatment. Anjali, all these grammar lessons are paying you off well. You're telling me all the grammar. Amazing. So she experienced chronic pain, which decreased her movements and activities of daily living. She experienced chronic pain, which decreased her movements and activities of daily living. That looks fine to me as well. Well done. Therefore, she underwent aforementioned surgery on 11th of July 2018. So what I would do here is, because we had the number 11 here, when we're using a date in a sentence, we need to use our ordinal numbers. So the 11th of July 2018. Apart from that, looking pretty good. Just a small error there with your grammar and using a linking device and also using an ordinal number there as well. Post-operatively, I love that conjunction. Very nice. Mrs. Thompson has been initiated with exercises as per TSR protocol, which need to be continued for 2 weeks, along with hydrotherapy once a week. Okay, good. But once again, small error with the grammar here. Has been initiated. So you've used the present perfect here. Has been. But I don't see a for or since there. So we don't need to use the present perfect. So we know what happened in the past. It was after her operation. What would you change this to instead?
She was initiated with exercises as per TSR protocol.
Was initiated with exercises as per TSR protocol. Very good. So no need for has been. There's no for or since. There's no perfect tense needed here. She requires a cryo cuff for every 4 hours per day. Okay, a cryo cuff. Now, I'm going to assume that's a piece of equipment that's used. So I think that's fine. Now, one more thing here. It says for 4 hours per day. Okay, for every 4 hours per day. We don't need both of these. Which one can we remove? Which one can you remove?
Cuff 4.
4, yes. Not for 4 hours or every 4 hours. One can be used. Every 4 hours per day or 4 hours per day. But every is more applicable because talking about 4 hours, then 4 hours, then 4 hours. Well done. She has been instructed to avoid lifting for 4 weeks. Perfect sentence. Currently, her surgical site is clean and dry. However, she needs assistance with activities of daily living. What I will do here, though, is take away the semicolon. I don't think it's required here. I think a simple comma is fine. Now, I'm just thinking about conciseness here. She needs assistance with activities of daily living. What we can do is remove a word here and just say daily living activities. Taking away a word there, slightly more concise, okay? Overall, in terms of your grammar and how your sentence is linked together and your cohesion, that's a good paragraph. It's a good subsection. Now, in view of the above, It would be greatly appreciated if you could provide further care for Mrs. Thompson. Lovely. Now we're getting into more purpose. Kindly note that she has a follow-up appointment after 10 days for staples removal. Okay. It is essential to note that if there are any concerns regarding her condition, comma, it's a new section here, she can contact an orthopedic nurse specialist on Monday to Friday at the outpatient department. Kindly administer Clexan for 4 days in order to prevent deep vein thrombosis. Order 2 is nice. We can just use 2 and take away 2 words. I'm going to explain to you in a second why I've done that, Anjali. Okay.
Okay.
Please note she has been advised about discharge education. Okay. We can make this a bit more concise too. We could say she has been educated about her discharge. Yeah, we don't need to use advise there. We can use the verb educate instead. Should you have any queries regarding Mrs. Thompson, please do not hesitate to contact me. Yours sincerely, Nurse Anjaly. Okay.
I thought I was written.
No, it's not there, but you did write this after all. So I'm going to say Nurse Anjaly. So Anjaly, having a look at my feedback there in your letter body, how do you feel about this letter? Are you feeling quite confident about it?
Yeah. There are minor grammatical issues and some punctuation issues. And as you said that conciseness and all okay. And it was well understood. But there are minor issues, even though there is minor issues with the grammar.
Okay. So you're feeling quite confident. Now I'm going to go through a few comments here with you. Keep in mind, I can't talk about everything here because I haven't analyzed all of the case notes. So I can't really talk about in depth in terms of the content, etc. that was there. But I'm going to go through what I think. I think your purpose is great. The reason why is because you clearly, my thumbs are chubby and I'm going to make mistakes while I type, clearly outlined in the beginning and expanded upon at the end. And that's really important for your purpose. Make it clear exactly why you're writing the letter. Who's it to? What's it about? And then expand and give more information at the very, very end regarding that. And to me, that was very, very clear. Content, I couldn't see any content I thought was irrelevant. The case notes did have a lot of social history and family history, and you were right to admit all of that. So the content seems good, okay? Because there was a lot of relevant content in that. So well done. Your conciseness and clarity. Now, I had a look at your word count before I did the writing correction. Did you count your words in your letter? Did you know how many words you had, Anjali?
No,
No?
I didn't count.
Okay, I'm going to tell you how many words your letter was. 2, 3, 4 words. So how do you feel about that? Is that enough? Too much? Too little?
Yeah, it's only 180 to 200 words.
Yeah, so
it's supposed to be.
It's a bit long, okay? So in terms of the length, what I would suggest you probably do is the final paragraph. Final paragraph was a bit long. So how can this be reduced? So I'll want to take it. Oh, there goes the lights again. Angela's in the dark one more time, but she's not in the dark about her writing correction. So how can this be reduced, Anjali? How can you keep each paragraph roughly the same length? Because all you'd have to do here is take away 2 sentences. So is there a point that you could link into another part of the paragraph? Could you write it in a slightly shorter way to bring it down to approximately 180 to 200 words? It doesn't have to be. Really 210 maximum. So all you have to do is reduce 20 words. So think about the length of each paragraph. Can they all be the same? Approximately the same. Paragraph the same length. Okay. In terms of your your cohesion, that was really good. Everything was linked together very, very nicely using appropriate words. But let's see if we can make it a bit shorter. Can we reduce the words a little bit? Genre and style, very professional. And suitably clinical, which is great. You weren't writing like you're writing to a friend. You weren't writing like you were writing to a university professor. So I thought that was great. Okay. Your organization and your layouts. I thought your writing flowed well and made logical sense. So you talked about her medical background and how that related to what's happening today. And the final paragraph is what's going to happen now. So to me, I didn't see any major issues with that. Language, okay, as we saw already in the main body itself, be careful with your tenses. And using prepositions and linking devices. Okay. For example, using the past simple versus past perfect, using for and every at the same time, and using and which were the errors there. So always pays to spend a bit of time at the end of your letter, no more than 5 minutes, reading through it all. One, does it make sense when you read it back? But two, can you find any errors you might have used? So for example, your tenses, did you use the appropriate tense in relation to the case notes? Are there any other errors like duplicating linking devices, like using prepositions out of context? But those are the errors that I found, okay? Also, be careful with punctuation, especially using commas. Those are the small errors that I found, okay? Apart from that, it was a really good letter and well done. So the two areas I want you to really look at the next time especially are your conciseness and clarity. Bring that word count down. Can you keep each paragraph roughly the same? And can you make sure that that the word count is as low to 180, 200 as possible? And when you're reading, just make sure that all the content is good. And of course that you can work on any grammatical issues that might appear that I've outlined here. So first thing I want to say to you is your main takeaways. Keep your word count to 210, not 201, maximum, but ideally 180 to 200 words. So try and count your letter when you're reviewing it. Don't have to count every word. What I simply do is count one line. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and multiply that by how many lines there are. Now give me a rough word count. Okay. Review your letter for grammatical mistakes outlined above. This is why it's always really important to have a teacher have a look at it, because the teacher will always see, I can see a pattern here. I can see typical mistakes that maybe often be made. And of course, things that we often see are articles being missed or omitted. Didn't have any of those issues, which is great. Grammatical mistakes, preposition mistakes, and punctuation mistakes. You can outline them and you can check for them, okay? The second thing is, the third thing I want to say is, can you keep your writing concise? So even though I told you about your word count, one thing you can do is maybe just omitting some of that information that you don't think is essential, but can you write something and make it a bit shorter? So can you use less words and still get the point across? That will also bring your word count down a little bit. 3 areas: word count, subsections roughly the same length, make your writing more concise, and make sure you're aware of your grammatical mistakes and you're checking them in your 5-minute review at the very end. Anjaly, how do you feel about that letter?
it was some grammatical issues, and word count is more, and I need to concise again. I need to concise that letter.
I hope that you found that writing correction very, very useful. I'll send that feedback to you, and you're going to use that in your writing coming along. But you're doing amazing with your writing, especially where you were and also where you are now as well. So well done. I'm seeing massive improvements in you. I'm very happy to see that as well. Thank you so much for coming along today, and I'll speak to you very soon regarding your writing. Take care.
Okay, thank you, sir. Bye-bye.